Digital disruption in the UAE with dubizzle.
The latest buzz in the world of technology and innovation with the UAE's latest homegrown unicorn.
And let's have a look at what's happening to car sales here in the UAE. They're revving up, according to the guys at dubizzle Cars. We are speaking to the head of operations there, Sumit Mohinani. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. So, tell me, what have you seen in terms of how COVID has affected the used car market?
I think it's been positive. It's been great. If you look back when the COVID started, this is back in March, we saw a dip in sales. And that's purely because people were commuting less. Cash became a key component. And there was a lot of uncertainty. But I believe, from August, September last year, we've just seen growth. And I believe a lot of credit really goes to the UAE government for the way they've rolled out the vaccine. And, we've been just growing since then. So it's been, touch wood, really great for us.
When you say we've seen growth in the last couple of months, is that growth on the lows that you just mentioned earlier, or are we at or even better than pre-pandemic levels?
So in last year, after a couple of months, we saw growth, which came down to the levels back from 2019. And now this year, at least in the last 6 months, we've been only seeing growth. So far for the last 4 months, we've been beating our best record. So last month was the best month for dubizzle Pro ever in its history. So this is what I mean, growth.
What are you putting that down to? What's the theory?
I believe, when we look down to the market, right, and, when we look at the second-hand market, it runs on three values. That's trust, transparency, and innovation. And we at dubizzle, we just try to focus on those three values and how can we bring more trust, how can we bring more transparency, and how can we innovate.
So what are people actually buying?
People are buying all types of cars. So currently we have an inventory of around 1,300 to 1,400 cars. In terms of economy, Toyota, Honda, they seem to be doing really well in terms of luxury cars, mid-luxury cars. BMW and Mercedes are some of the most popular cars that we have. Yeah.
You mentioned the inventory there, 1,300 to 1,400. What would be normal for you? Are we seeing more cars available?
So it's supply and demand, right? The demand is there. So when we look at about a year ago, there was demand uncertainty. We didn't know what people wanted to buy. People were reluctant to buy, and that's why we saw a drop. Today, you see the second-hand market growing because there is no longer demand uncertainty. There is demand. You put a good car out there that is, you have a history for it, you have an inspection for it, it gets sold. So demand is no longer an issue. Supply, there has been some sort of, there's just too many cars out there right now. So from a supply point of view, we're seeing a little bit uncertainty, but in terms of inventory, we've grown our inventory by 300% in the last 1 year.
Could we use that as
there is growth?
Proxy data for what's happening to the local economy? People selling cars could indicate people exiting. How do you see it?
I believe the other way, right? Right now, the demand is very high. So people are not exiting, more people are coming on. Today, like I said, if a lead time for us, so what we look at is from the moment we get a car onboarded to the moment it's sold, the lead time is reducing every month. So now if you put out a car about a year ago, it would take approximately 30 days. Today, it takes between 20 to 30 days. So that actually is the sign for the same model, the same make, the same type of car, the same year is taking lesser time to sell. So that I see as a positive sign. It's also the expo right now. If you call up right now for a rental car, it's difficult to even get a car. right? And people are here for 6 months and people are even for longer. UAE is one of the best markets to purchase a second-hand car because the exit is easy. The reason being the government has made the transfer process so seamless. So it takes in less than an hour, you can transfer your car. Through portals such as dubizzle, it's easy to cash out your car in 5 minutes. Not really 5 minutes, but about 45 minutes, you can cash out your car and get your money within 24 hours. So it's very easy to buy. It's very easy to sell.
I'm interested in what you said there about the lead time dropping from 30 days last year. Last year, of course, was in the pandemic. What would your lead time have normally been pre-pandemic?
It's around the 30 days itself. So pandemic was slightly higher. We don't take that into consideration because it's a one-off case. This I'm talking about 2019, pre-pandemic. Right now, it's shorter. And just to give you in some perspective on it, pre-pandemic, our inventory was around 400 to 500 cars. Today, we're doing about 1,300 to 1,400 cars. So with more inventory, with more cars out there, with more choices available, more variety available, we're taking shorter time. So that's a very positive sign.
What about the amount of money that people are actually getting for the cars, though? What are you seeing?
I think this is the best time to sell. I mean, it's the car market, secondhand car market is really well priced right now. You're getting a good price. Nobody's trying to undercut you. And so if you've maintained your car, it's a good car condition. It's been serviced. It's been looked after. You go out, you will get a good price right now.
Morning, Sumit. Richard here. We've got some messages coming in. No name on this one, but they ask, is the global shortage of microchips, which is constraining the ability of car manufacturers to make cars, is the lack of supply of new cars leading people to buy second-hand?
In terms of lack of supply for new cars, it's a ripple effect. So if the car sales are bad this year, new car sales are bad this year, you would see that effect 2-3 years down the line because what's the average second-hand car you're buying. We've seen that sort of a new car sales being dipped for the last couple of years. And yes, there is an element of why there is a higher demand for second-hand cars, but generally, with also for us, dubizzle. So I can't say for the entire industry, yes, it's on a higher end, but we are also growing faster is because we are innovating in terms of bringing in more transparency and trust and innovation.
Sumit Mohinani is the head of operations at dubizzle Cars, speaking to us this morning about what they are seeing, not just in terms of used car sales, but also in inventory and the lead time to move them.
We are live.